And welcome to the Out Loud, where we have a dance party before every call, but this is audio, and so you won't get to see it. Anyway, I am your host, Jeremy. Just our normal recap before we get into our guest today and our normal disclaimers. Remember that the opinions being expressed here are not to be held in perpetuity. The opinions are subject to change. And as well to that too, the individuals are representing themselves, not any company that they work for, past, future, present. That's our preamble. So before we start asking some questions, let's get that intro from our guest today. Take it away.
Yeah, awesome. So, hello everyone. My name's Andrew Mitchell. I'm a college kid. I go to USC, and I also have my own business where I help out high ticket closers, B2B businesses, generate lead generation, and also partner with them to figure out which AI automations can benefit them the most and help them integrate those AI automations into their business.
Nice. Well, you have the distinction right now of being the first person in on our podcast to be this early in their career, and doing some really cool things. But I'm gonna leave Ben to ask us the very first question.
I love it. Thank you, Andrew. I am very curious to hear what is the quiet in your space as you're growing your business.
As I'm growing my business, so in the B2B world, a lot of people struggle with lead generation, it turns out, which is why I've kind of focused on that a lot in my business. A lot of people have these killer products. A very good example recently is the whole AI agency boom. Everyone's got these killer AI automations, these workflows, but they don't get it in front of the right people. They don't know how. And so a lot of people have been struggling with lead generation. A lot of people don't even know that marketing is necessary for their business. And a lot of the times, all they need is just that little push to go a long way in business. And so we're trying to really isolate that and kind of target that and help businesses go from here all the way to here in short amount of times with minimal output or minimal input.
So just kind of taking that into consideration, and I'm sure you've probably faced this a lot. I mean, what do you say to people who are like, well, if I wanted to do lead gen, I would go in and get my own in-house marketer, somebody who's going to be with me, fully along the way. What would you say sort of sets you apart from other people, and why do you think that you can do that now versus maybe 2 or 3 years from now? Like, why start now?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, I would say, do your own research. If you want to go with your own in-house marketer, do it. I mean, I'm all for that. You don't need to be reaching um, reaching out to other people and outside of your business to be marketing. That's not necessary. But a lot of the times after doing, a lot of research, a lot of people first don't have the budget to have a full-time marketer. It's expensive, and especially to find a real specialist and somebody who's actually going to do a really good job, they're pretty expensive, right? So a lot of the time it's easier to actually outsource that marketing and to go with an agent. That's why agencies are so popular these days, So a lot of people think at first that my business can kind of be confused with an agency, which actually isn't the case. I like to partner with my clients and actually partner with their business and specifically their revenue to focus on not just leads, not just sales, but actually generating real quantifiable revenue to their business and really moving the needle at all costs. Lead generation is kind of just my in for that, and then kind of sit down, figure out their business, and really figure out what's going to move the needle. And a lot of the time, lead generation will do that.
Andrew, I'm curious, what insights do you have as you talk to different business owners or folks about the lack of knowledge that you're seeing? Like, where is that coming from? Like, how are we getting to that point? People that are trying to be entrepreneurs and going, I'm missing this step. Where's that coming from?
Yeah, so a lot of people, I feel like they have great ideas. These groundbreaking great ideas. And first of all, a lot of people don't even act on it. So, whoever acts on their idea, like props to them, like you just got to dive in and start. And that takes a lot of effort. That takes a lot of bravery. And once you do that, you're already ahead of so many other people. But there's not really like a business blueprint out there. I mean, there are, but it's kind of hard. Like it's not really given to you in like the school system. It's more like you got to kind of go in and figure it out on your own, right? And so they have this amazing products and don't really know how to market it or just like expect like, oh, if I build it, they will come, right? Like that's not really the case in business unless you have a couple people, you got word of mouth, and like it's very specific cases. A lot of the time you really need to actually go out and show people, hey, I have this awesome product. Do you want to hear about it? Do you want to hear about how it can help you in your business? I don't know if you guys are familiar with Alex Hormozy, but he is pretty popular and he's been advertising this book launch he's got going for I don't even know how long. And he just went out on the streets and started like asking people in the same place where he has all these giant billboards for it and everything. He's like, hey, are you guys like, do you know what this is? And they're like, no, what is this? As there's like giant billboards, like nobody knows about your thing, no matter how much you think people know about it. So like, if you think you're not going to advertise, then it's going to be tough to get your product out there. And if you think you've advertised enough, you probably have. You could probably just keep on going and going, going more and more. So I think it's important to know that having the product itself is just half of the game. It doesn't matter how good your product is if nobody knows about it.
Well, and you touch on something here that we touched on with a previous guest actually fairly recently. For those listening, listen to the Mason episode if you just jumped to this one. But one of the things we talked about there was the education system. And I think that whenever people have talked about it, we've talked about the lessons you learn in the classroom or the boardroom, and then the lessons you learn in the streets. So for you, kind of being this entrepreneurial and starting this early, I mean, what would you say to people were the biggest lessons that you've learned so far that maybe you didn't anticipate coming into it?
There's a couple. First, I mean, you just have to start. You can't overthink things. You can't have analysis paralysis. You just have to start, and you will figure it out as you go. You will learn lessons as you go. You will get better as you go, but you just have to start. Another thing is, if something's worth building, a lot of the times it takes a lot longer than you think it will. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to start this business. It's going to be great. We're going to get this many clients in this much time. Like a lot of the times it takes a lot longer. There's a lot of like other nitpicky things that you're going to have to get through as you're building. I guess another lesson is make sure that your clients are happy. Make sure that you can promise something to your clients and you can not only deliver, but over deliver. And that I feel like will take you a long way.
And I want to just build on this because you touched on something in there, and this is probably something that a lot of people are touching on now too. And Ben might I actually ask this later on, but thinking to what you do and where you've gone, do you think that you still would have launched what you did at your age if AI hadn't been available?
It would have been a lot more difficult. That's 100% for sure. Because AI has I'm still a one-man team. So AI has made this so much easier and has allowed me to not have crazy overhead costs and hiring and needing a whole 4 or 5 person team. I think I'm very, very set on, what I'm doing now. I think I would have had a different approach, maybe not so AI focused. I leverage AI a lot to make things a lot more efficient. And, the same lead generation I built for my clients, I built for myself. And that a lot of that is AI driven. And, I would have had to switch up the approach a little bit. Maybe start off by cold calling, maybe start off by knocking on doors or something. But I think right when I had this idea, I was in the mindset where I was like, it was after about 2 years and I just really was trying to find like something to start. And once I had that idea, I was really just like, okay, it's time to go. And so I just started,
Yeah, I'm super curious about that, Andrew. The barrier to entry, I love that. Like, I love the it made it easy, right? The AI, the tool made it easier to be able to do that. Let me ask the $64,000 question is, at what point does the tool replace Andrew and run Andrew's business for himself?
That's a good question. I've been thinking about that recently because, a lot of people are scared that their jobs are in question with the whole AI coming in. And I know a lot of my friends who graduated last year are really having tough times with the job search. I don't know if that has to do with AI or anything, but something to consider potentially. I think that AI is a tool that can be used for helping make things efficient, and certain tasks should definitely be leveraged to AI. However, making and owning and making the decisions for the business and actually analyzing and talking to the people face to face like this, it's kind of hard to have AI do that for you. You can outsource a lot of things, you can leverage AI a lot of different ways, but there still needs to be that human component. So I think for CEOs and business owners and business people in general who have a lot of person to person relationship and conversation, I don't think AI can replace you.
So I think that that's also kind of a good question, because I think, in the past when you started a business or you're driving on a business and stuff like that, you work with other people, you bounce ideas off of other people to do that. I mean, for you being a one-man show, and really it's just you and the AI in the room, and
Me and ChatGPT.
and we know that AI will certainly, support the craziness, crazier ideas, because it's much more of a yes man than a no. I mean, how do you go to find some brainstorming people, and how do you sort of, I mean, do you write prompts in such a way that sort of says like, hey, pick me apart, so that it's not just sort of the, yes, Andrew, this is great, Andrew, you're the, the sun is shining, Andrew.
You know, at times I can just go on ChatGPT and it can just tell me I'm the greatest person ever, and I just roll with it sometimes. To be completely honest with you. And I'm like, it's like, yeah, this is a great idea. Like, go do this, go do that. Like, I've definitely learned to be a little bit more cautious. That's one of the lessons I've learned, because you're right. ChatGPT is definitely a yes man, and ChatGPT and other AI engines can definitely really support ideas that sometimes need a little bit more thought, to say the least. And sorry, what was the other part of the question?
No, that was kind of it. It's, when you're only brainstorming against yourself, essentially, even with AI,
Yeah.
it's sort of that, how do you put limits on yourself and make sure that you're not going out and building something that's wild and crazy just because AI said so.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of podcasts as well, and like meet with a lot of different people daily. So I'm always kind of bouncing ideas off one another. They're not like part of my team. They're not, they're not part of my team, but I still like to bounce ideas off of each other. Read a lot of books. I actually do a lot of research on YouTube. We'll see if that helps me or not. I think it does, but it's not just me and ChatGPT as much as it may seem.
Which is thematic of, I think, what you said earlier, Andrew, and I really like that point, and it's coming up in more and more conversations about the AI can't replace the human connection, right? That's ultimately how we're going to continue to move things along and interact and connect. Yes, the tools are going to continue to make it easier to be able to do those things and be able to do the things that you're doing as well, but ultimately we still fundamentally need one another in what we do and how we do things, and building the connections with other people to feel motivated to accomplish the things that you're looking to accomplish.
Absolutely. And I think that the human part, the interaction is the fun part, right? I think a lot of the time AI as a tool is best used to get rid of when you're down in the weeds doing those dirty tasks, the tedious work. That's what AI is for, so you're not wasting time on that kind of thing. So you can really focus on what's going to actually help me grow my business, what's going to take me from point A to point B in my business, and not be focusing on all these tedious tasks that really AI is made for, in my opinion. Like, that's why I use AI for. That's how I implement it for my clients, and that's how I think it should be used, honestly.
Yeah. So leading in, we're going to do a little bit of a second question because normally we're talking to folks who've been in the space for a little bit, but where do you go from here? What is like, where do you sort of see, Andrew in 10 years?
10 years, hopefully on a yacht. Starting off right now, I'm launching my first ad campaign either this week or next week. So I think that the offer and the actual output has really been qualified in my eyes, and it's worked for multiple people. And so now I'm really comfortable putting in those results, showing those results to other people, and running that as ads. Um, and then at that point, it kind of just becomes a video game. I feel like obviously it's not gonna be this easy, but run ads, get more clients, hopefully get them to pay up front and full up front, use that profit to run more ads, get more clients, just cycle that repeat over and over and over again as much as possible. And then slowly start to hire out team of people who can, I can actually delegate these tasks to. So I'm not doing all the delivery and everything else in the business, I mean, that's another thing. When you start a business, you're the one wearing all the hats,
Yep.
which I like. I like being fully in control, but it's a lot of work. And that's how you have to start. I'm sure you guys know about that, but like I'm everything. I'm a financial advisor. I'm the marketer. I'm the client delivery. I'm the CRM. I'm doing it all. So slowly, like as we churn out ads, get more clients, churn out more ads, cycle that, repeat, also be hiring new people to delegate these tasks to. So that, I mean, the goal is honestly just to find a winning ad and just scale that as far as it will go. And from there, keep on building, charge more, do more for my clients, build more trust. And I feel like that just snowballs over and over and over again.
Okay, I think we're ready to wrap it up, right? Right, Loud Wizard?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Andrew, where can everybody find you? Where can we come get you?
Yeah, so if you want to reach out to me for any reason, my email is andrew@wescale4u.com. It's wescale, the number 4, you, the letter u.com. And yeah, that's honestly the best place to find me. We can talk, we can schedule a call, and if I can help you with your business, I'd love to. And if you just want to chat, why not?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us on another great episode of the Quiet Out Loud. Until next time.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.